ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
Right now, the loved ones of this teenage girl shot and killed in University City last week are gathering to keep her memory alive. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo is live at the vigil being held at the scene where that girl's body was found. Laura.
And Steve and Kimberly, it's been a very emotional night out here right now. I'm going to step out of the way, but we are keeping our distance out of respect for the family of Irene Salgado Aceves. They started gathering here at about 6:30 and they were waiting for the sunset, but for the most part this evening, they have just been gathering in silence, looking at pictures of her and kind of interacting amongst themselves. Now, here are some pictures that were shared by the family. I spoke to her aunt a couple of days ago, and she told me that the family was just devastated and shocked by what had happened. Now, Irene was just 19 years old when she was shot last Friday here in this parking lot. San Diego police found her in the front passenger seat of the car that she was riding in with a gunshot wound to her chest. Now, according to police, the teen was with two others in the car driving on Miramar Road when she was shot. Detectives found a gun in the car and arrested a 17-year-old boy that was riding with her. The family tells me that she loved kids, had a contagious smile, and a big heart. So as we come back out here live, the family is still gathering here. No one has talked yet, and they are kind of sitting in silence at the moment. You can see that they are all wearing red. We are waiting to speak to the family, but again, they told us that they wanted to honor her respectfully and honor her in silence, and that is what they are doing here behind me. Reporting live in University City, Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Quite a gathering. You could tell she was loved. Laura, thank you. This just in, 2 of Governor Gavin Newsom's children have tested positive for COVID. The governor's office says that Newsom, his wife, and their 2 other children have since tested negative. Both the governor and his wife, they are vaccinated. The family says they are following all COVID protocols.
A grim COVID milestone in San Diego. The county reported another 8 deaths today, pushing our total above 4,000. On the positive side, our daily cases were once again well below 1,000. California's health workers have less than 2 weeks to comply with the state's vaccine mandate. As ABC 10 News reporter Nia Watson discovered, Sharp Healthcare could lose hundreds of badly needed workers who haven't gotten the shot.
There will be a contingent of folks that will have to be placed on administrative leave at September 30th.
Sharp's healthcare chief operating officer Brett McLean spoke with Kogo AM radio, expressing his concerns on the impact the state's vaccine mandate could have on the hospital. Right now, 89% of Sharp's 19,000 employees are vaccinated.
Very proud of that. That's gone up 10 percentage points just in the last about 5 weeks. And so we're continuing to work on that because we want to make sure that we keep as many of our healthcare workers as possible.
But McLean says an estimated 600 workers haven't gotten the shot and don't qualify for medical or religious exemptions. If employees don't comply by September 30th, Sharp's policy says they'll be put on leave and have a month to get vaccinated or be let go. Something legal analyst Wendy Patrick says is a tough situation to be in, given the ongoing staffing shortages at hospitals.
What do you do if you have COVID cases rising, vaccination rates falling, and ICU bed space dwindling? Do you lay off a significant portion of your staff?
Both Scripps Healthcare and UCSD Health report employee vaccination rates are at least 90%. At Rady Children's Hospital, 87%. Some hospitals have also received hundreds of medical or religious exemption requests from staff, which is a gray area, Patrick says, particularly when it comes to what qualifies as a religious exemption.
This is going to go straight from the emergency room to the courtroom. Due to the amount of employees that have not yet made any move to becoming vaccinated and due to the record number of exemption requests that are flying in.
Nia Watson, ABC 10 News.
Scripps Healthcare would not specify its non-compliant policy for employees. A spokesman for Rady's says it's still working on its policy. And you can stay on top of any new developments with coronavirus by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
A former student of a prestigious local private school is now coming forward to say that she was sexually abused by her former teacher. Today, she announced she is suing Francis Parker School. As our ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena explains, the woman did not want to conceal her identity. We do want to warn you, some of the details of this story may be disturbing.
Grace Wynn wiped away tears at times as she told her story.
I was 13 years old. I was molested and I was abused. And I felt that there was no safe place at Francis Parker to speak out.
She's speaking publicly for the first time about the abuse she says she suffered at the hands of a former teacher at the Francis Parker School and filing suit against her alma mater, according to the complaint, for negligent supervision and breach of mandatory duty.
He did things and communicated in ways that he convinced me were normal. But in fact, his relationship with me was not normal.
According to the suit, a teacher and basketball coach named Miguel Sembrano groomed and ultimately sexually abused a then 13-year-old Wynn.
After school, he would tutor her in the classroom by themselves, rub her thighs, grabbed her butt, and did inappropriate things that should never happen to a child.
The complaint goes on to say that Sembrano was fired in 2015 and went on to work at a different high school in the San Diego area. During that time, Wynn's attorney says Sembrano continued to contact her.
Asked her for inappropriate pictures, for nude pictures, for child pornography.
The suit alleges that Francis Parker knew of the inappropriate behavior involving Sembrano, but failed to report it to the proper authorities.
They put Parker first and their reputation first and let Mr. Sembrano quietly exit out stage left and let him go on to hurt other kids in our community.
The lawsuit says that Sembrano was under investigation for sexual misconduct with another young girl at his new school. ABC 10 News is not naming the school until we verify the criminal complaint. Sembrano committed suicide by jumping off the Coronado Bridge before any action was taken. ABC 10 News reached out to Francis Parker, which issued the following statement. Quote, "At Francis Parker School, we take all alleged incidents extremely seriously. Our school's values are founded on putting students first and providing an environment for learning where students are safe, both physically and emotionally. We are unable to comment on the specifics of the pending litigation." Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News.
Wynn's attorney does believe there could be other victims of Sembrano. She is asking anyone with any knowledge of this case or others to come forward.
Poway synagogue shooter John Earnest is now a guilty man on federal charges. Today, the 22-year-old pleaded guilty to all 113 federal charges against him. Earnest previously pleaded guilty to murder and other charges in a state case. He will be sentenced to life without parole later this month for that, and the federal sentence will also be life in prison. Earnest killed Lori Kay in the 2019 shooting, which he admitted was fueled by anti-Semitism. San Diego's unemployment rate is dropping. According to new numbers from the state, the county jobless rate in July was 6.6%. That's a drop of 0.3 of a point. It's also more than 4% lower than July of last year. We're ahead of the rest of the state, which is 7.5%. However, California trails the rest of the country. The national unemployment rate is 5.3%. A Camp Pendleton Marine injured during the bombings in Afghanistan is back in San Diego to receive treatment. Family members tell ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen he was close to the bomb when it went off.
As news of the bombings in Kabul filtered out 3 weeks ago, Nicole Hood was filled with dread. She believed her nephew, 20-year-old Camp Pendleton Marine Michael Gretson, was in Afghanistan.
The rest of the day we were frozen until we heard from him, and we did not hear from him for hours later.
Hood says when he reached his family, they learned he was alive but injured. This photo of Gretson was taken as he was being treated in the hours after the bombing.
Michael was about 10 to 15 feet away from the explosion when it happened.
Hood says her nephew has been reluctant to share many details, but believes he was behind a short barrier near Abbey Gate outside the airport when the bomb went off. The explosion blew out his eardrum as it sent shrapnel into his left side.
Hit his left shoulder and his bicep, and right now he cannot move below his elbow. He's having a hard time moving.
As more tests are done, the shrapnel has yet to be removed for fear of causing more damage. The bombing also left Gretson with a traumatic brain injury.
His short-term memory right now has been affected. So we're trying to get further medical attention.
Gretchen has been awarded the Purple Heart. Hood says more than a week ago, Gretchen was transferred from Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Maryland to Naval Medical Center, San Diego. He is one of 18 service members injured in the bombings. 13 were killed.
Ones that survived it, they're living the rest of their life remembering it and going through it over and over again. We know that we're lucky he's alive, but we're also worried about him and his future.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
A long road ahead. And Hood, who lives in Wisconsin, has set up a GoFundMe campaign to help with expenses. There is a link on our homepage at 10news.com.